I want to turn to, I'm going to screen share. This is a concrete, I believe, and Derek can correct me if I'm wrong, a series of concrete poems. Derek has done so much. I mean, you got to follow Derek on social media. Where do you mostly post? You have a blog, but you also are on Twitter and Facebook as well. Am I right?
Yeah, mostly Twitter and Facebook. I do have an Instagram account that I use on occasion, but certainly the best place to find my work is on my own website.
Okay, and that's what's the URL for that?
DerekBeaulieu.wordpress.com.
That's easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have
look there.
So there's a series of concrete poems that that you have partly posted to your website called Throb, Throb, Throb. And at a certain point a little while ago, you found that Arnold McBay had done an animation of one of them. So what I'd like to do is screen share the animation and invite Derek to comment on it, and then invite anybody here to comment on Derek's comment on because we haven't talked specifically about concrete poetry, but it's so relevant. And we can't take too long on it because we're going to then do final words. But here is the screen share. Here we go. There it is. Derek, while we're watching this throbbing, throb, 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 I'm going to leave it up as a screen share for a minute or two, and then I'll end it. But in the meantime, would you start talking about it? What's going on here, and why can't I read this?
I'm not sure. I can't read it either. I don't create visual poems as a score for performance. I don't know how to read this out loud, but a lot of folks have played with it. I do see sound poets responding to this. This piece was originally designed as a static letter-set rub-down lettering poem. It was not designed, so it was all done by hand. I posted it online, and then Arnie's a friend of mine in St. Catharines, Ontario, who's been taking me up on my proposal that people respond or react or reply to poems. So he often takes my work and then animates them in simple little ways. And in this case, he took it and made it throb, unexpectedly, surprisingly, and brought a new vibe to the poem itself.
Yeah. So it's a concrete poem. Your concrete poems, not always, but often they're alphabetistic. You know, you're interested in font. You're very visual. You're interested in font. You're interested in lettering. So I want to invite a couple of responses to it, starting with Jake. Just, how does concrete poetry fit here? What is this thing about the way letters look? I guess it's very Russian formalist. I mean, there's a lot going on here, and it's related to chapter to week 10, but we really haven't spelled that out. So Jake, sorry, I call on you cold call, but what do you think?
It was really fun to just look at it. I mean, Derek, your work, I don't know a ton of, but what I've seen and looked at before this session, I really just enjoy the visual look of it, and sometimes it feels like a kind of like almost a meditative experience, and I am definitely trying to close read that thing, and like the word empire was like jumping on me, and we and in. Sorry, I can't. Can you bring it back in for a second?
Yeah, happily. Mm-hmm.
Because like the empire, maybe that says something about me, I don't know, but the upper left corner and downward, like we the empire, or the in empire root. I don't know. I just like it. I just want to read it. Like sometimes words that are familiar, but also like not real words, or not yet real words. Like I just want to do that. It's inviting and fun.
Max, I'm going to turn to you. So what's interesting about this, Derek, is that you sit at the side of traditional poetry by doing the visual alphabet, and you wind up going over to the other side, to the sound side, because Jake's natural response was to try to sound it out. So you take two traditionally marginal aspects, marginal from the conventional point of view, aspects of poetry, and you bring them together kind of implicitly, which you want to sound it out. Max, a thought on this? What is concrete poetry? What does it have to do with what we've been talking about, if anything?
I mean, just to go back to my earlier comment and what we've been talking about for most of the webcast, it has so much to do with materiality of language, or thinking language as something that is made up of component parts, and not necessarily in this linguistic sense, like of, phonemes, morphemes, etc., but thinking of it as thinking of it in terms of type, of the physical act of setting type, of publishing, of paper, of pages, of all of this materiality, this entire material underpinning to language, how we interact with it, how we use it on a daily basis. And that's rather radical implications. It really makes you think about, how we're producing this on a daily basis, all the work and even the natural resources that go into it.
Right.